All right, it's October. You know what that means. Millions of us are turning our homes into spooky spectacles for Halloween. Your porch becomes a pumpkin patch, skeletons are scaling the walls, and ghosts are swaying from the trees. And of course, what's the final touch? Stretching those classic fluffy white spiderwebs all over the bushes and porch railings. It's the decoration that screams, Halloween is officially here. It all seems like harmless, creepy fun, right? Well, what if I told you that this iconic decoration might be turning your fun, festive yard into a real-life house of horrors for animals? You think you're just adding a spooky vibe, but you could be setting a deadly trap. And the danger doesn't just stop with wildlife. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the shocking truth about fake spider webs and the risks they pose to local animals, and maybe even your own family. Section 1. The invisible killer in your yard. The biggest reason to rethink using these webs outside is how devastating they are for wildlife. It's a threat that wildlife rehabbers report seeing over and over again each October. These decorations, the stretchy or fluffy kind, are usually made of synthetic stuff like polyester. They're designed to be pulled thin and to snag on things, and that's exactly what makes them so dangerous. The individual strands are surprisingly strong, tough to break, and almost invisible to animals, especially at dawn and dusk when they're most active. Birds are some of the most common victims. Small songbirds, hummingbirds, and even bigger birds like owls can fly right into these webs without seeing them. When they struggle, the fibers just get tighter, wrapping around their wings, legs, or necks. A simple snag can quickly lead to exhaustion, broken bones, and a slow, painful death. Rehabbers say that by the time a bird is found, its feathers can be so mangled that it can't fly properly anymore. And the timing is just awful. For a lot of birds, October is peak migration season. They're flying long distances, they're tired, and they're in unfamiliar territory. Your yard can become a deadly obstacle course they never saw coming. But it's not just birds. The danger is real for any small creature in your garden. Bees and butterflies, which are super important pollinators already facing challenges, can get hopelessly tangled. Little critters like chipmunks, squirrels, bats, and even young opossums are also at risk. They might not be able to chew or tear their way out of the strong fibers. One wildlife director even shared a story about finding a toad so wrapped up in webbing that it was stuck to its skin like Velcro. Even spiders can get trapped in the fake webbing, but unlike a real web, there's no dinner waiting for them, just a slow death. You might think if an animal gets caught, you can just set it free. It's not that simple. Experts warn that you can actually cause more harm by trying to untangle an animal yourself. And with animals like bats or skunks, there's also a risk of rabies, so you really need a trained professional to handle it. The material itself is another huge problem. These webs are not biodegradable. All those little pieces that get left behind, and they're a nightmare to clean up completely, will stick around in the environment for years, posing a long-term threat. Birds have even been spotted using leftover strands to build their nests, which can tragically trap and harm their own chicks. If you're finding this information helpful and want to learn more ways to keep your home and your local environment safe, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We're all about uncovering the hidden stories behind everyday things, and your support helps us keep going. Section 2. A hidden hazard for your family. And it's not just wildlife you have to worry about. The risks can also hit closer to home, affecting the most vulnerable members of your family, your pets and young kids. For dogs, and especially for cats, those dangly, wispy fibers can look like a super fun new toy. But if a pet swallows these synthetic fibers, it's incredibly dangerous. The material isn't digestible and can lead to serious internal issues, like vomiting or intestinal blockages that might require emergency surgery. It's a similar risk to the one we all know about with tinsel during the holidays. Curious pets can also get tangled up just like wild animals. A big dog might be able to rip itself free, but a cat or a small dog could panic, causing the webbing to wrap even tighter around a limb or their neck, leading to injury or serious distress. And of course, the same goes for small children. Toddlers explore the world with their hands and mouths, and they can easily pull off a piece of webbing and swallow it, which is a major choking hazard. Because the material is so light and fluffy, it's easy to miss a small piece that a child might find on the floor or out in the yard. So while you might think the webs are just background decor, to a curious pet or child, they can be a real and present danger. This is why so many animal welfare groups and vets advise against using them, or at the very least keeping them completely out of reach. Section 3. The flammable nightmare you didn't expect. Picture this. You've got your jack-o'-lanterns lit, your spooky lights are twinkling, and the fog machine is pumping. The scene is perfect. But you might not realize you've just set up a tinderbox. That's right, fake spiderwebs are highly flammable. The synthetic materials used to make them, like polyester, aren't fire-resistant at all. In fact, they can catch fire and burn incredibly fast. Think about how easily a polyester shirt melts when it gets near a flame. Now imagine that spread all across the front of your house. According to the National Fire Protection Association, decorations are the first thing to ignite in hundreds of home fires every year, and a big chunk of those fires are started by candles. Halloween is prime time for these kinds of accidents. A real candle inside a pumpkin, a stray spark, or even a hot bulb from your string lights could be all it takes to set the web ablaze. If a fake web catches fire on a bush next to your house, the flames can spread to your home in seconds. What started as a small decoration could turn into a total disaster. Fire departments issue warnings about this every single year, urging everyone to be extra careful with their Halloween decorations. In some wild cases, people have made fire effects that were so realistic they caused worried neighbors to call 911, leading to a full emergency response. While that's an extreme example, it makes a really important point. Fire safety during Halloween is no joke. The combination of flammable decor and heat sources is a perfect storm for risk. Fire officials always stress that you should keep decorations away from open flames and make sure they don't block any exits. A super simple fix is to use battery-operated LED candles instead of real ones. Section 4. Spooky and safe, the better alternatives. Okay, so after all that doom and gloom, you're probably thinking you have to give up on spiderwebs for good. But you don't! The key is just to decorate in a way that's mindful and safe. Here's the #1 rule from wildlife experts. If you absolutely have to use the stretchy, fluffy kind of web, just keep it indoors. Drape it in your windows, across mirrors, or over furniture where it can't possibly harm any animals. And even inside, make sure to keep it away from pets and any heat sources like light bulbs or candles. For your outdoor decorating, there are some awesome alternatives that give you that creepy web look without the danger. The best option is to make your own web out of thick rope or yarn. When you make a web with big, open spaces, birds and other animals can see it and move through it easily without getting trapped. You can get really creative and make a giant rope web the main event of your yard display. You could also go for pre-made LED spiderweb lights. They create a really cool glowing effect at night and are completely solid, so there's no risk of entanglement. Other safe and natural decorations include pumpkins, gourds, cornstalks, and hay bales. They look super festive and are biodegradable and safe for the environment. At the end of the day, the goal is to create a fun, spooky vibe without causing any real-life harm. By making smarter choices, you can protect local wildlife, keep your family safe, and still have the coolest decorated house on the block. The truth is, what seems like a simple, harmless decoration actually carries a lot of hidden dangers. From being an invisible, deadly trap for migrating birds and other wildlife, to posing a real fire and safety hazard for our pets and families, the risks are pretty serious. But hey, this isn't about shaming anyone or trying to ruin a holiday tradition. It's about being aware. It's about understanding the unintended consequences of our choices and then making better ones. So this Halloween, let's pick decorations that are just spooky in theme, not truly harmful in reality. Go for wildlife-safe alternatives outside, like those cool rope webs, and save the fluffy stuff for inside your home where everyone can enjoy it safely. Let's make sure our Halloween celebrations are only a house of horrors for fun. What other hidden Halloween dangers do you think people should know about? Let us know in the comments below. Stay safe and have a happy Halloween.